You don't often see Georgia give up 200 yards rushing really against anyone in the Kirby Smart era. It's an anomaly. So we're here to tell you how it happened. What did Auburn do? What should Georgia be trying to do to stop future teams from doing that? Hello, Kentucky. Hello, what Kentucky did against Florida. Can it happen against Georgia? We're here to assess that. Brent Rollins, Dayne Young, UGAsports.com, presented by Breda Pest Management, the official pest control of the Georgia Bulldogs. They're good enough for Sanford Stadium, good enough for your home. Go to BredaPest.com. Also presented by ASW Distillery. Big announcement this upcoming week, probably right after the Kentucky game with ASW. We'll tell you about that as we have. And in the meantime, go get your Fiddler bourbon from wherever you buy your spirits. All right, Brent, overall reaction, defense. We're going to diagnose some things here that Auburn did really well to put Georgia in a bind. But just overall, after reviewing this game, what did you see from Georgia defensively that is either most concerning or that we need to make sure we discuss before this video is over?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. And you think, all right, you go to the dog vent and you see how it is after the game. It's kind of fun to just to peruse a little bit. All right, hey, our edge setting was bad. Linebacker play was bad. Interior D-line was bad. This was bad. That was bad. Well, guess what? On all the plays, especially all the big plays, it was just one. Oftentimes it was just one thing. But a lot of times it was an alignment issue where they know what you're going to do, and they then called great plays against what you're going to do. And I think that's the theme with a lot of this is when you have Hugh Freeze and you look back at Hugh Freeze's history, the last 4 times that he's played Kirby Smart and or Alabama, when he was at Alabama, like put up a lot of points, put up a lot of yards, and has hurt them. And it's one where when you have a QB and a QB run game and you're really good with the design of the QB run game, it's just hard to defend. And we're going to see it from play 1.
Yeah, and I did not know that Peyton Thorne was this running threat. I know he ran against Sanford. I know that happened. I did not see this coming. And he scoots on down the field in this play.
And it's not so much the threat. They don't use it in like if Ashford's playing, these are touchdowns a lot of times. But the key part for me is go back to there's a lot of parts with each of these plays. So at the snap, when was the last time, like right before the snap, when was the last time you saw Georgia with sort of a 6-man defensive front outside of a short yardage situation? This is 2nd and 8. They had literally just run the same formation the play before, except Thorne opened the other way. This time he opens sort of to the short side of the field, to the short, versus the previous play, he opened to the wide side of the field. And what was interesting, the previous play, which was stuffed, obviously because it's 2nd and 8, Jamon Johnson was in the game. This play, CJ Allen's in the game. So it's a lot of something with this where, okay, are you thinking pass here, or are you playing sort of pass what your alignment is? So a couple things, go back even further to the snap. So Chaz and I think it's Brinson that are the two on the offense's right, the defense's left. They instantly shoot the inside gap of where they're going. And here's the key. You just can't get washed. And right here, Chaz gets washed to the point like he gets completely caved in. So now it's there. And they're running a counter where, all right, at this point, okay, Munden comes down, squeezes. The QB just does a great job of holding this, and then pulling it at the last possible second. And because of that, look at the false step that CJ Allen takes. And now they've got 2 lead blockers. This is just great design against the defense that you played on this play. And the worst part of this play to me was actually something the best player on the defense did. And that is Malachi Starks. His angle and him jumping toward the inside when all the help was inside, he jumped that guy, and the tight end did a great job of setting up and blocking him. That's what allowed the big play.
Yeah, and it flipped the field quickly. You thought even though Georgia had to punt early, not a big deal. You just thought that Georgia had field position early in this thing, and Auburn gets that happening.
Dayne's on his back deck. That's what the noise is, Justin.
Yeah. There are critters out here in Oconee County.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what that one is, but yes, thank you for acknowledging the background noise.
So this is another one where, again, 2nd and 10, you see Georgia line up in a 5-man front. what do we traditionally see Georgia in? We see them in a 4-2-5 look. And for some reason, and a lot of times this game, they would bring this sort of 5-man front where one of the linebackers becomes the edge player, like Munden on the previous play. This is old school. Most every high school, if they don't run it, they should, especially if their quarterback's a running threat. This is power read. This is Cam Newton 101. And when you have QBs who run this, and you have a coach that teaches this stuff well, and they run it well, it's just hard to defend. And if you don't run it, by the way, and your quarterback's a running threat in high school, shame on you, Titans. Excuse me. Yeah. But just Sorey gets put in conflict here. Watches the play happens.
He watches the play happens, and then you'll see a poor angle from Tyke Smith as well.
Yeah. So Sorey sees the block, but he's also in conflict. Like I really don't understand what he's doing there outside. Like he's committing, and he tries to hit the guy. He tries to hit the lineman, even though the running back's the one with the ball.
He whiffs on it. Right. I thought he was trying to make sure he didn't get tripped, but you're right. Yeah, he's trying
to engage the lineman. But why is he not sort of sitting and surfing? Like you hear that term for edge players, where it's just flat foot, shuffle, like you're playing defense in basketball. Boom! Now he commits. QB does an excellent job. By the way, look at the quarterback's footwork here. This is a thing of beauty. Shuffle, give. Like that's how you run this play, and then you get a one-on-one that you just miss. So instead of Sorey spilling that ball, making to where Tyke could force him inside to him, now there's all this space, and he just gets beat.
Yeah, and then at this point, it's speed to the edge, and
you got their huge athletic guy, 13, who was pretty physically imposing, blocked really well on the perimeter, and now he gets bullard. Lassiter actually gets off the block here and then comes in and kind of trips him up, but not before giving up 5 more yards. It's tough to defend from this look. And they're just really good at it. Like when you run the power read and you run it well, it's hard to defend. This is probably the one to me that was the most perplexing of the entirety of this game. So this is right after that. I think it's very close to that play.
Yeah.
Again, this is their base defense. This is like when we say, while Georgia's base, like what they're in most of the time is that 4-2-5 look. This is truly their base defense. They have 2 outside, Chaz and Marvin Jones Jr. here on the edge. You have no Tyke Smith, no star position. And everything is gap sound except for 2. I have no clue. He gets caught up with the split zone action from 87. And literally leaves the B gap completely open. And that's right where the running back goes. Because everybody else, like if you look, 2 things. One, you highlighted C.J. Allen. This is a heck of a tackle here by 72. Oh, great tackle right there.
So the 2 things I wanted to point out with that, one, C.J. Allen's in here and not Pop. So we saw that more in this game. C.J. Allen played a lot. This looks like a block in the back to me here.
No, it's a tackle. It's even worse from the all-22 angle. He straight up tackled him.
I'm trying to say whatever the ref would refer to it as. The other thing is that, yes, and I thought Smile Munden played one of his worst games at Georgia against Auburn here. This probably could have been called for a hold if you watch this through.
Oh, yeah.
Right down the shoulder pad.
But you don't get held if you – so let's look at sort of right at the point of attack. So right there, stop. So watch as Walthour right there. Perfect. Walthour is shooting inside. So he is now a gap defender. Christian Miller right in the middle, right there. Boom. Taking care of the center. C.J. Allen, run blitz almost in a way. A gap defender. Logue, I think that's on the other side. B gap defender. Chaz. And then Marvin Jones Jr. outside leverage, outside arm free, here and there. Every gap is guarded except the B gap, which is where look at Munden's eyes. Dude, he totally follows the split zone motion. And instead of just seeing the action straight in the hole and meeting 27 right on the blue line, watch it, back it up just a little bit and watch his eyes. At the start of the play. Go back from the start of the play and watch his eyes. He's seeing that split zone action and following it versus the play. And the play's coming literally right at him. That was one, like, so you wonder sort of, all right, so we've got great design against your call, great design again against your call where you have one sort of error and then you miss an open field tackle situation. And then you just have eye discipline issues. 3 different things.
Yep. And one mistake from one player can turn into a big play for Auburn.
Yep.
This is a 3rd and 9. And look, 3rd down, Georgia got better at it through this game with defense. But early on, I'm circling Smile again because this time we have Pop and Smile covering the same thing, leaving this open.
This is one where what I would love to know is obviously their actions speak. The ways Munden plays this is he's got the back and Pop is the spy. But then watch right there. Watch as Pop hits the back and then turns. He looks back at Munden like, dude, what are you doing here? Like right there, he's like, dude, what do you like? He does that quick look, like even throws the hand up, right? He throws the hand up like, hey, what's going on here? Why aren't you with that guy?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
for 2 experienced
miscommunication,
inside linebackers, you just don't expect either that level of miscommunication or just blown assignment.
And yes, I do agree, Gina, that we need positive. They won. Georgia won the game, but there was a lot of issues. And I almost think if Auburn plays Ashford, if this was going to be their game plan, and they played Ashford the whole game, they almost win comfortably because there were so many plays where if Ashford's the QB or if it works out way differently. But this like you said, experienced players, miscommunication can't happen.
I mean, you don't have to be a great runner to exploit this.
And the other thing about go back to the rush. Go back to the rush. One other thing with this that I was also curious watching is so Michael Williams is inside on the right guard. His rush path is he works upfield. I almost thought he looked like he was working to where Sori would be coming back around, wrapping. But again, you see this one here where they rush forward like this. He maybe just thought he could win outside and didn't.
And he wants a hold call here as well.
Yep.
And maybe deserves one. All right, next up is 2nd and 5. We're in the 4th quarter now. Auburn trailing by 3.
Yep, and this is just, I mean, why are we pointing out these plays specifically? Because it's run game. Where were the run game deficiencies? Like, how long is it? I mean, I know there was a stat, how many years it's been since Kirby Smart defense has given up over 200 yards rushing. But this is one where you highlighted it there, but a couple of different things here. Look at the formation from the beginning, like back to the snap before we start. So this is Georgia, their true sort of mint front, Chambliss on the backside edge. But look at Logue here as the left defensive tackle. Like there's 2 guys outside of him. Like he has to sort of almost work to his outside shoulder on anything that comes that way. And then he needs to then occupy those guys, keep them off the backer so the backer can make the play. Well, one, he goes inside. So boom, boom, boom. He lets the guard get him, not even a tackle. So there, instead of just working outside, goes inside. And then where's your backer? Like, again, he's following split zone flow. He's following the flow to the backside versus playing the play side. And I don't know if that was something where all week had been, put into his head, hey, follow backside flow. But all right, you're just not there. And that's when you think about this defense and the gaps and where it's supposed to be, that's boom, push thing out to the backer right there. He fills the hole. But again, not there, first down.
Yep. And it allows Auburn to attack space. Attacking space is the name of the game. Hugh Freeze is really good at it. Now, sometimes even a quarterback that's had a pretty rough year throwing can just make a throw. And I thought this was well covered, and Auburn makes a play.
When you think about just sort of, yeah, I agree. He put his hand sort of this way as opposed to where the receiver, he went and he made a play there, but he didn't go to where his hands necessarily were. But their game plan was borderline perfect for how you would want to pull this upset. QB run game, run the football, and then just take shots. Some they hit pass interference penalties, some they didn't hit. Some, it's just, and you got an occasional play here and there. One that Georgia made a play on that we're going to look at a little bit later in the defensive play of the game.
Yep. Some more things we want to point out from earlier in the game, and then we'll get to the Malachi Starks closer.
This is one where Georgia gets lucky here. Like we just showed the power read and how he gave the ball. This is the exact same play. Like the guards pulling, working up. This is the exact same play. Walthour is sitting still. This is a give read 99 times out of 100 right there. He's sitting there. And especially when you know your back has a running start and he's a better athlete than that, especially knowing that it's 90. It's not like it's, Trayvon Walker who can easily get out there, big time athlete. Like that's a give read. And look what happens if that ball is given. Like you got space, you got another play. You're on the edge again. But here he keeps it. Walthour's right there. Good play. So, but you're outflanked again if the quarterback makes the right read here.
And this kind of play is Walthour's strength. He's not quite as fast as some of Georgia's other edge and defensive lineman guys. So keep him on the inside, makes play.
Yep.
KYP, right?
100%. Always. And here we go again. Counter. And you're in that 5-man front. And again, second down. So look this is Auburn playing your tendencies. It's multiple plays where we've seen this here, and then they have now done things to outflank you because they think because they almost know you're going to be in a certain alignment. And
one thought that I had of why counter here works. So we see so much motion pre-snap now that sometimes this H back here would motion over this way, but then that would draw over defender over here. And without that, you kind of draw your mismatch and say, all right, cross the field. We're going to be slightly faster than you because you're lined up so far over here.
No motion almost is rare. I mean, when you think about it, the way college was. But all right, so now I know I think somebody up in the comments up here was wanting to talk about spill technique. So we got to talk about it. So boom, right there, Munden comes in and is technically kind of playing this correct. But the hard part about this is, and this is where Auburn kind of schemed against you and the calls, the fronts that you're in, since you're in a 5-man, a sort of 5-1, a 6-man box, but 5-1 front. Him spilling that, the numbers advantage, they still have the numbers advantage. Like there's still one extra guy to block your one linebacker. And this is where you just, in certain parts, got out-schemed, out-coached a little bit from what they do offensively to what you did defensively.
And then even in the open field, you have pretty good response here from Bullard, but just a little hesitation move here and then gets the edge.
So think about the bigger plays running that we've seen. We've seen linebacker eye discipline. We've seen sort of front issues. We've seen great calls. We've seen power reads, seen counter. And when the quarterback is always a threat to keep and run the ball, you get that one step of hesitation. It oftentimes over. Now the game was decided. The bigger gains. The quarterback run game was 10 for 140 yards, I think, in terms of quarterback runs. It was like 26 for 90 something for the running back standpoint. So the bigger plays were the QB plays, the QB running plays. But still, this is when you talk about the clock rules and the way things work, shorten the game, keep teams in it. This is what teams are going to consistently do to you. And here, this is great design. This is their tradition. Now they're in their traditional front and they go bash counter, so the back goes away from flow. Like the back goes to the right and counter coming back left, bash QB counter. Like, and you're outnumbered. Again, you're getting washed. Like, this is just knowing what you play. And what's the difference? When you think about this defense versus what Georgia's had in the past, you have guys that are stalemating right there. You're stalemating the line of scrimmage, but you're not winning. Like you're not coming off a block and being ready to make a play.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of that in that game. So look, you see again, the linebackers flowing to the back and then boom, this is the first time they ran this. They wrap counter around. you're out leveraged. You're any false steps now, the QB run game gets you again.
Point out again that Dumas Johnson not in on this play. Just something to watch personnel-wise going forward.
And then we finish with the bang, right?
Yeah. So this is a desperation time for Auburn. 4th down, got to have it. And 24 makes a play.
I mean, he just did that. And he's the best player on the defense. He's one of the best safeties in the country. And yes, very much aware of the old sort of 5-2 versus 3-4 that Mr. Steel Dog is talking about, more sort of talking numbers than getting into true defensive nerdery terms. But yeah, this is go make a play. And look what he does. He comes off of it, sees it. You start getting a little bit of pressure. And this is, when you think about what's the ultimate, we've seen some kind of we've pointed out run game issues, edge play issues throughout, but no one's really consistently did it like Auburn did. What's the answer? There's only one answer to me. Because of the lack of what you have playmaker-wise along the defensive front, the answer is be better on offense. The answer is score more points. The answer is play from the ahead in the beginning of the game. So you now dictate what the offense does versus the offense getting to do what they want to do. That's the answer, because I think because of what you had, you just can't line up and let people run what they want to run because you just don't have the tail kickers like you used to having in terms of the interior front players.
Now start looking down Georgia's schedule. Where are the quarterbacks that can run? I don't see a whole lot of them.
Well, that's a big day, like Kentucky and what they did to Florida. Like they absolutely manhandled Florida. Like it was just a pounding, out leveraged, out physical, everything. Their QB doesn't run, and that changes a whole heck of a lot in terms of how you play them and what they do.
Kentucky's better on the line of scrimmage than Auburn is, but again, not the running threat. Georgia probably is fine to load up and let's just say who can win in the trenches. Kirby Smart says that game every year is the most physical they play in the regular season. I think we're about to see that again.
And I think you're going to see a lot more of their true base defense, their true 3-4, where you see two edge guys with like Marvin Jones Jr., Chaz, both of those guys on the field on early downs. You're going to see more of that. Thus, can Kentucky then create, when they're in that type of personnel, can they create one-on-one matchups? Because their receivers are actually pretty good. They've had some drop issues. Barry and Brown dropped a touchdown early in that game. But as you saw last year, like he made a lot of plays against Georgia's defense last year. So I think that's going to be the key.
The question I have, Kirby Smart talked about this after the Auburn game, so that Auburn picked up some things that UAB had success with and used some of those things. All right. Does Liam Cohen go into the bag a little bit? Look at what Auburn just did. Can we try some of these things? Are you willing to do that? Because it had success for two teams before. We'll see.
Some of it, yes. A lot of it's just not. It's not what they do. It would be very anti what they do. So, but we'll see.
Well, what we do is check out Georgia football after it happens on Sunday for UGAsports.com. And if you like that, then you need to support the people who support us. That's Breda Pest Management at BredaPest.com. Get them to come to your house. The colder weather's coming. That means some critters are moving around a little bit, getting away from where they've been. You don't want them to be nesting in your home trying to find some warmth. So BredaPest.com. They protect Sanford Stadium. They protect Stegman Coliseum and Foley Field. They will do a great job at your home as well. And ASW Distillery, really excited for what they have coming this season. Big time Georgia supporters over at ASW. And Braves playoffs now. Get ready at Truist Park. Get to their tasting room early and check out some Braves action over there. Distilled by Dogs, 5 of the 6 founders are Georgia grads. So we will have 3 more episodes that we will have on this channel before the end of the night. Those will not be live directly because we want to record them, pump them out real fast, but we do thank all our live viewers and check us out over at UGAsports.com. If you are not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button because we are very, very, very close to hitting that 40K mark. And we are setting the standard for Georgia coverage on YouTube, most popular channel out there. We want to keep running up that score. Thank you all for watching. Film Don't Lie from UGAsports.com. We'll see you next time.